Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your source materials, we break them down, and really pull out the core insights for you.
Yeah, giving you that knowledge without, all the overwhelm. It's like a shortcut to getting up to speed.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into something really fascinating. It's excerpts from a Neville Goddard talk.
That's right. It's from April 21st, 1969. And the talk was called Power Called the Law.
Okay, so our mission, let's say, for this deep dive is to really get a handle on Goddard's main ideas, specifically about imagination.
And how he believed it directly shapes our lives, like right now in the present moment.
Yeah, we want to focus on that practical, immediate side of things first, before we even touch on the bigger spiritual stuff he gets into later.
Right, because Goddard starts with this really bold claim, doesn't he? That our imagination literally creates our reality.
It's a big one. And he even quotes Blake, saying anyone who denies it is an idiot reasoner, not someone using their imagination.
Yeah, pretty strong words. It definitely grabs your attention right from the start.
Okay, so let's unpack this. He emphasizes this law isn't abstract, right? It's supposed to have real effects, here and now.
Exactly. And he kicks things off with a story, a really powerful one, about a little girl, just 14 months old.
Right, tell us about that.
Well, this child, she developed these lumps on her neck. They removed one, tested it, and multiple specialists came back with a cancer diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One doctor apparently had some doubts, but they kept her in the hospital for more tests anyway.
Okay, and this is where Goddard's idea comes in.
This is it. The mother tells her husband the news, obviously distressed,
Mm.
but he consciously decides to kind of tune out her voice reporting the bad news.
Mentally tune it out.
Yeah. And then he deliberately revised it in his mind. He imagined hearing her tell him the opposite, that the child was perfectly fine.
Okay, so he's actively changing the narrative in his imagination.
Actively changing it. And he didn't just do it once. He kept doing it, imagining hearing the good news as he fell asleep that night, too.
And the result?
Well, just a few days later, the doctors did another test. And this time, they were unanimous. The child didn't have cancer.
Wait, had she received any treatment in the hospital?
That's the crucial part. No treatment was given. So the doctors themselves concluded she must never have actually had cancer in the first place.
Because she couldn't have recovered without treatment, from their perspective.
Exactly. So for Goddard, this was proof positive. A shift in imagination directly led to a physical change, bypassing conventional medical logic.
And that ties into his quote, doesn't it? About showing people what they can do right now.
Precisely. Show them what they can do right here and now. Get their interest in the power called the law. It's about demonstrating tangible results first.
Okay, so that's the practical application. Then he gets into the why, the theory behind it, the nature of cause and effect.
Right. He makes this pretty radical statement. Every natural effect has a spiritual cause. He actually calls physical causation a delusion.
A delusion. That's a fundamental challenge to how we usually see the world.
It really is. His argument is that our memory is basically faulty. We forget the imaginal acts, the inner stuff, that actually set things in motion earlier.
So we look for the obvious physical cause because we don't remember the imaginative one.
That's the idea. We're sort of blind to the real underlying cause, which he says is always imaginal.
He gives another example for this, right? The man wanting more money.
Yeah, another anecdote. This guy desires more cash, but instead of, working overtime or planning something, he just takes a minute and imagines.
Imagines what?
Green currency, like dollar bills, just raining down on him, just for a minute or so.
Okay.
And then April 15th comes around, his boss announces a 10% raise for everyone, retroactive to April 1st, and hands him a check.
So unexpected money shows up, seemingly out of the blue after this imaginal act.
Exactly. Connecting the dots that we often miss. Goddard even throws in a funny warning, like, practice this on your bed, maybe not while driving on the freeway.
Huh, yeah, probably good advice.
But the point remains serious. He insists everything is an imaginal act, and there is no such thing as physical causation.
But what about something really direct? Like if someone physically hits someone else, surely that's physical cause and effect.
Well, Goddard's explanation for that would be that the impulse to strike, the decision, the feeling before the action, that was the unseen imaginal cause.
Ah, okay. So the inner state precedes and causes the outer action. The world itself, he says, is
brought into being by imagination and sustained by imagination. That's his core belief.
Right. So these examples show the law in action, but then he starts hinting at something deeper. beyond just getting practical results.
Yeah, he talks about the world being sustained by imagination, but then introduces this idea of a promise.
A promise? What's that about?
It seems to be about realizing a much more profound reality through imagination, something beyond just manifesting specific things. He also brings up this idea about who we really are.
You mean the wearer versus the garment?
Exactly. The wearer, our essential self, is ancient, as old as God, he says. The physical body, the garment, is just temporary, young by comparison.
And he connects the lack of this deeper understanding, this promise, to that line from Macbeth.
Yet life being a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. He suggests that without understanding this deeper potential of imagination, life can seem meaningless like that.
Interesting. Okay, then the conversation shifts again towards the figure of Jesus.
And here, Goddard gets quite specific. He claims nothing said about Jesus can be proven outwardly, like through historical facts or relics.
So how can Jesus be known, according to him?
Only inwardly, by visionaries, through direct personal inner experience.
And he claims to have had such experiences himself.
Very much so. He talks about the entire incredible story called Jesus Christ unfolding within him, his own inner experience of crucifixion, burial, resurrection.
Wow. That's a very personal interpretation.
It is. And he even says he shared this visionary capacity, his immortal eyes, with a student who then witnessed Goddard's own crucifixion in a vision.
Saw a burning cross turn into golden light.
That's the description.
Yeah.
It emphasizes his point. Direct experience is the only way to truly know Jesus, not historical accounts.
So for Goddard, Jesus is not a physical being.
But a pattern buried in you. Yes. It's about an inner potential, a divine pattern within everyone that needs to be awakened.
And he warns that religious traditions can actually obscure this inner truth by focusing too much on the historical or external.
Right. He references the 15th chapter of Matthew there as a warning against letting tradition overshadow direct inner knowing.
Okay, so if Jesus is an inner pattern and imagination is the key, this leads back to testing it yourself, doesn't it?
Absolutely. His core message comes back around.
Okay.
Test your creative power, called the law. Try it out.
He suggests imitating that friend from the first story.
Yeah. Gently imagine receiving something you desire. The key is believing you've already received it as you imagine it.
So he's speaking directly to you, the listener. Test him on his level. Test your creative power.
Right. He does briefly mention this potential transformation into something beyond physical, like becoming light. But his main advice is, start with the practical. Focus on the law first.
And he makes a really important distinction between just thinking or reasoning about something and actually imagining it.
A crucial distinction. As a reasoning being, you are not responsible to make anything happen. But as a man of imagination, you simply imagine it is.
So going back to the first story, the friend didn't need medical knowledge about cancer.
Not at all. It wasn't about figuring it out or taking external steps. It was purely the imaginal act, Goddard argues, that correlated with the outcome.
And the question he wants us to ask ourselves, and maybe others, is,
Did it ever occur to you that your world is caused not by the obvious, but by an unseen imaginal act? It really pushes you to reconsider everything.
It does. He uses an analogy later on to make this idea maybe a bit more approachable. Something about oysters.
Yes. A personal story. He says he hated oysters the first time he tried them. Really disliked them.
But he kept trying them.
Apparently so. And eventually, he acquired a taste for them. He started to like them.
And the analogy is?
That you can acquire a taste for these ideas about imagination too. Even if they seem strange or unbelievable at first, if you start by testing the law, experiencing some results.
You might develop an appetite for the deeper concepts.
Exactly. Start practical, and the taste for the more profound stuff might follow.
Then, towards the end, he really doubles down on his own personal identification with this inner Christ pattern.
Yes. He talks again about his inner experiences mirroring the gospel story, despite living an ordinary life as Neville, and sharing that vision with another student.
And his conclusion from this awakening is pretty staggering.
It is. He awoke in a garment the world knows as Neville. Having awakened, I know I am he who became humanity, that humanity may become God.
So he's essentially saying he realized his identity as that divine pattern, the Christ within, and that this potential is in everyone.
That's the message. God now sleeps in you. He will awake, and you will experience the identical drama, for there is no other.
Wow. And he worries, doesn't he, that after he's gone, his experiences might just become another rigid doctrine.
Yeah, he mentions his impending departure, and again references Matthew 15, warning against institutionalizing the experience instead of seeking it directly.
So wrapping this up, the core message from Goddard in this talk seems crystal clear.
Absolutely. It's the power of your imagination, not as wishful thinking, but as the actual creative force shaping your life right here, right now.
With real, tangible effects possible in the present.
Yeah. And the invitation really is personal. It's a challenge to you.
Test it. Try out the law for yourself in some small way. See what happens before you even worry about the bigger spiritual claim.
Right. Experience it first, then decide about the rest.
So here's maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over based on all this. How different might you view your own potential, your own life, if you seriously entertain the idea that your inner world, your imagination, holds the primary creative power over your outer reality?
What possibilities does that genuinely open up for you if imagination is truly the cause?
Definitely something to think about. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us today.